Good morning. How are you doing? How have you been? How is your morning? It is another Monday, another fantastic week. It is a blessing to be alive. It is a blessing to see this other day after the long weekend. What have you been up to during the weekend? What was your highlight of the weekend? And it is Monday. It is another week, right? Mondays. I always feel like Mondays, like you've planned everything on during the weekend. On Monday, you're starting to make everything work out for you. So it's a time to start on your productivity as such, right? Right. So if you don't get things right on a Monday, most probably for you to adjust during the week might be a little bit hard. So as you're getting out, I really hope that you are on the right track to getting your things done. So how have you been? I have been good. My weekend was awesome, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And it is a very good day because I think I really like a very chilled weather. It's not very chilly, it's not very hot. It is a very good day for me. I feel like it is a good day for me. And I feel like I have another opportunity for me to be productive. I hope you too are going to be productive. It is Monday here at a farmers. This is the breakfast show. I am your host Lillian Thomas. On Mondays, on the breakfast show, uh, it is about I don't know, inspire you, want to inspire you. So it's more like an inspirational Monday. It's also on Mondays, we have Fun Plan Monday. So for every other person who is doing anything in the agriculture industry, we will be sharing with you how you're supposed to be planning your week. Today, we are starting today the week. So we will be sharing today. And we have a section, Fun Plan Monday, which will be coming immediately after we conclude the live show, right? So make sure you stay tuned for that. We did a very good thing for you. It is a very good thing that we have planned for you for this week. So you'll tell us, what are you planning to do for your week? For your week, what activities are you planning to do on your farm? What are you engaging in even today? Are you up? Are you on your farm? What are you doing? We really want to know. I hope you are fantastic. And I hope that your week goes well, right? And that you are productive at the end of the day, right? And if you have woken up today, give a prayer of thanksgiving. It is not by our own means that we are here today. It is not by our own means that we've seen this day. It is another chance just to be grateful that we've been able to see this day and that we're going to be starting the week and to be doing amazing things. Be the amazing person that you are. And talking about amazing, today we have an amazing conversation with you guys. Last week I did something, on Friday we did something on climate smart agriculture. Today I want to do something on sustainable agriculture, right? Um, it is a very interesting discussion. Later on during the show, during the other half, the second half part of it, we'll be having a guest on call. We'll be talking to Mr. Absalom Ila from Kisumu. He will be telling us more about sustainable agriculture. Okay. Um, as we are going to be starting the discussion, I want you to give us your feedback. Find us on our pages on Facebook. We are at A Farmers. On YouTube, we are at A Farmers Media. Send us your feedback. Give us your thoughts about the topic of discussion. What do you know about sustainable agriculture? Are you practicing it? Do you think it's viable? Is it even possible? Do you think it will work? Tell us, give us your feedback. We'll be glad to sample your feedback. As you give us your feedback, tell us where you're watching the show from. And also tell me, I said it is Farm Plan Monday. It is Farm Plan Monday. Please let us know, what are you planning to do for this week in your farm? What activities are you planning to do? What are you set out to do today? What do you plan on doing during the whole week? And it is on Monday. I want to know, the week is starting, and for me, I have something that pushes me during the week as the week starts, right? I'll be telling you what is inspiring me this week for me to be able to be as productive as I should be. I want to know, what is inspiring you today? What is inspiring you this week? What is keeping you going? What is keeping you going? I want to know, I really want to know what your inspirations are. Maybe in one way or another, it might be beneficial to someone else. You never know, you never know, you never know. It might be beneficial to someone else, right? Yes, so give me your feedback. Affirmers on Facebook, Affirmers Media on YouTube. Tell me where you're watching the show from, and we will be glad to sample your feedback. Yes, aside my topic of discussion today is sustainable agriculture. Sustainable in the terms of sustainable comes from the word sustain. To sustain is like to have something for quite a long while, having something going on for quite a long while, right? So we are talking about agriculture that can be going on for a very, very long while. I don't know. What do you know about sustainable agriculture? What practices do you know that are done for us to be able to achieve sustainable agriculture? Do you know any challenges that are hindering us from getting to having sustainable agriculture? Okay. Um, in our discussion, we'll be talking to Absalom Ila, as I mentioned earlier. He'll be coming through in the second part of the show, and he'll be telling us more about sustainable agriculture. It is a field he is well versed in. But as for me, as I start this discussion, I want you to tell me, I'll give you a brief introduction of what sustainable agriculture is, and I want you to tell me from that. Do you think it's viable? Is it viable for us to be practicing it? Is it possible for us to be practicing it? Does it make sense? Okay. Fine. Give me your feedback. I'll be reading them in a few. In a few. So, sustainable agriculture is the kind of agriculture whereby you practice over a long time. It can be practiced over a long time, and over the long time, it keeps into account three different pillars, and these pillars are and the environment. The second one is economic viability, and the third one is all about social equity. So economic viability, I keep mentioning, I think I keep mentioning this in every show. um if you are doing agriculture, and we advise that you do it as a business, it is a business, right? And if it is a business, you're not supposed to be making losses from it, right? You're supposed to be making profits from it. It is an economic thing that you're doing. So you are investing something for you to get an output. So it's input to get output. And for you to be able to balance them, it has to be very economical. We don't want to be at a place whereby you put in too much, and whatever you get out of it is less than what you put in. Okay? So it is about the economic viability of the activities that you are doing. How economically viable is the agriculture that you are doing? And then when we're talking about the environment is a large thing. I think on Friday when we were doing something on climate smart agriculture. Actually, if you haven't watched the show, please go back and watch it. It is quite informative. It was done on Friday during the breakfast show. Yes, and we did something on climate smart agriculture. And we were explaining something, and we said over the years the climate has really shifted from one area to another, right? From one area to another. The climate isn't what we used to know. It isn't what we used to know. The weather right now is quite unpredictable. We have extreme of the conditions. So at some point you find we are having really heavy rainfalls, extremely heavy rainfalls to a point of flooding. And at some point we are actually experiencing droughts. So the conditions are getting quite extreme. The weather is very unpredictable. I think the seasons kind of have changed. You were so used to rainfall, like the long rain starting in maybe early March. And then right now, the long rains are starting somewhere in April. Everything is shifting a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. And it's all because of our environment. It's all because of our environment. We said we've altered our environment to a point whereby the climate has actually shifted. On Friday, we mentioned something about the greenhouse gases, right? That we emit into our environment that have actually altered whatever is happening with our climate. So when we are talking about The environment will be looking at all activities that we are doing that can actually tamper with the environment in one way or another. And this is more to do with activities we do on our farm, such as the soil practices we do on our farms. How do they actually affect our environment and stuff, right? And then when you're talking about the social equity thing, how beneficial are these activities to the farmer? We start with the farmer who is practicing this. How beneficial are the activities to the farmer and to the society at large? Because social society, it is on one lane. So, on a bigger picture, we are looking at the society. How are the activities affecting the society at large? How are the activities affecting the society at large? The condition, when we're talking about the effect it has on the farmer and the society, I'll talk more about the quality of life that these people are having. How are their living standards improving as a farmer? Are your standards of life improving, getting better, or they are actually getting worse? How are they improving? Are you able to you see, standard of living is is one thing. So I'm looking at the quality of life. There's a quality of life whereby someone can be able to afford like 3 meals in a day. Um, you can feed your family, you can feed your neighbor maybe. You can actually even remain with something else to sell. You see, at the end of it all, you guys are comfortable as a family. Okay? As a family, you guys are sorted, very, very sorted, very, very sorted. And then you have the society. You are actually helping even the society. People can actually get their meals and stuff, right? And then someone could be doing agriculture again, but this same person who is doing agriculture, like it is so, I don't want to use the word mediocre, but I would say it is not actually adding much into your life. It is not. Like it just has no impact. Like, if you did it and you failed to do it, it wouldn't make a difference, okay? Yes, that's what I'm talking about. There's someone who's doing agriculture and there's nothing changing about their life. There's nothing changing about their life. They are still straining, they still can't afford stable meals, any other economic things, they still can't afford it because maybe even the thing they are doing, they can't even actually manage to sell it. So, sustainable agriculture is looking at all these aspects. For us to achieve sustainable agriculture, we are providing food. We are providing food. We have food security, but we are putting into mind our environment, the social equity, and we are ensuring that these things are working hand in hand. Like the ecosystem has to balance. The ecosystem has to balance. It's not a matter of debate. So it is, you have to put, like, you have to achieve food security at the end of it all. You have to take care of your environment. And you guys, you as a farmer, you as someone in the chain of production, in the agriculture industry, and the society at large has to be benefiting, right? Your quality of lives are supposed to be improving. Your quality of lives are supposed to be improving. Um, there's a thing, okay, when the sustainable development goals were being actually planned on, agriculture was one of them, right? And this agriculture, we're looking at it in a long time thing because we are thinking, right now we are around 7 billion people in the world. We are in 2021, okay. 2021, we are 7 billion people. And then it is estimated that we will be 9 billion people in around 2050. So in around 2050, we'll be around 9 billion people. But look at the current situation that we have right now. We are 7 billion people, But even with these 7 billion people, we still have cases of hunger and starvation. Then how will it be in 2050? If we keep doing things the same way we've been doing them, how will it be in 2050 if we keep doing things the same way? Won't we have a larger number of people starving? I think we would. I think we would. And that's why agriculture is among the sustainable development goals that we have to put into place for us to be able to get a better life by the time we are getting to 2050, because the cases of hunger are way, way too high, way, way too high. Actually, it was recorded between 2014 and 2016. 793 million were hungry, were having cases of hunger. 793 million is a big number. The statistics are big. That's like 1 billion. That is like 1 billion. That is like 1 billion, and we are 7 billion. Like, we just have this huge percentage of people who are actually not getting food and everything else. And it is not a very good thing. I wouldn't want to be in a place whereby I am very comfortable, my neighbor isn't, because they don't have food and they are really struggling to put a meal on their table. Okay, and if we are to achieve food security as at 2050, that means we are supposed to be producing, you see, like our current production, we are supposed to be producing 60% more of what we are producing. 60% more of what we are producing currently. And it's not like, okay, currently it's not like it's a very constant thing whereby um it is like the food production is actually very minimal. That's why we have cases of food insecurity. But we also have another aspect of, we have food getting lost along the way. Actually, the figures given, we lose a third of the food that is produced. A third is 33%, roughly 33%. A third of the food produced is lost. That is, in figures, it is 1.3 billion tons. 1.3 billion tons. Oh my God, that's a very big number. It is a very big number. Is lost in the process. Either it spoils, during the transportation thing and the environment, post harvest losses, all these things come into play. So we lose a third percent. If we had this other percent, the number of the people who are going hungry would have been reduced. Would have been reduced. But then again, but then again, but then again, this other is being lost. And we still have to account for it, because we are the days are going forward and people keep reproducing. So the numbers are increasing, our population is increasing, and we still need to feed all these people. All these people need to be fed. All these people need to be fed. Something must be done differently. Something must be done differently. And that's why FAO decided on sustainable agriculture, something that will be long term. It will be beneficial for quite a long while. Yes, this is just a bit about the introduction of sustainable agriculture. I think you now understand what I mean by sustainable agriculture. Please send me your feedback on a farmers media on YouTube, a farmers on Facebook, a farmers on Facebook. Tell me what you think about sustainable agriculture. Especially more so now, I want to talk to people in Africa, people in Kenya, people in Zambia, Nigeria. Do you think it is achievable? Do you think it is achievable? Looking at the policies we have in your countries, like, look at it from an individual level. In your country, the policies you have, is it achievable? Is it achievable? Is it something that is doable? Does it make sense to any farmer? Does it make sense to you as a farmer? Do you think you will actually benefit from it in the long run? Do you think you will benefit from it in the long run? And aside, it is from Plan Monday. It is from Plan Monday. Please tell us, what are you planning on doing during the week on your farm? What do you plan to do during the week on your farm? What are the activities that you plan to do as today has started? I know most people, we are almost in the same time zone. The day has started. What have you planned to do? What have you set out yourself to do? As you're getting out of the house, maybe you got out earlier than now. What have you planned to do? Really want to know. And that said, we have a really interesting thing for you for the Farm Plan Monday that will be coming immediately after the live show. So make sure you stay tuned in to watch that. And another reminder again before we get back into our topic of discussion. Hello, people. COVID is here. COVID is here. COVID has been with us, eh? And it is not something that we will ignore. It is not something we will ignore. It is not something we will choose to close our eyes on. No, we wouldn't. No, we wouldn't. The numbers are getting higher day by day. The positive cases are rising day in, day out. The number of deaths in the country are rising. I'll be giving you the statistics, the updates towards the end of the show. But I will remind you, the government has put for us precautionary measures in place. So it is up to you. It is up to me to take care of myself. It is a personal initiative. It is a personal initiative. And I keep saying, protect yourself, and in the process, you will be protecting your family, you will be protecting your friends, you will be protecting your neighbor next to you, right? So it has to start with you. It has to start with you. And with that, I mean, can you put on your mask? Yes. Is it doable? It is very doable. Very doable. Can you put it on your mask? Yes. Please make sure you do. Whenever you are in public, make sure you are putting on your mask. Make sure you're putting on your mask. And I don't want you to do the thing of, I know my friend doesn't have COVID. No, you can never be too sure. So just put on your mask. Put on your mask, wash your hands regularly, 20 seconds, okay? 20 seconds. If you can't wash your hands, regularly sanitize your hands. Sawa, make sure you stay clean. Sawa. And the last bit of it is social distance. Social distance ni muhimu msi. Social distance ni muhimu huku nje. So keep social distance. Keep social distance. It is 1.5 meters. 1.5 meters is the most advisable distance you should keep. And if you have no business getting out of the house, fantastic. Stay in the house. Stay in the house. Let me know. Let me know. What are you planning to do during the week? What are you planning to do during the week? Are you a farmer? What are you planning to do? Okay, you're not a farmer? Fine. What are you planning to do? What have you set yourself out to do? You know, want you guys to go out here and achieve. Achieve. Be productive. Be the most productive you can be. Be the most productive you can be. If you've got all the resources you need, make sure you are being productive. You, as a farmer, what are you doing? What are you doing for the week? What have you planned to do? What activities are you doing? I know most people have already planted. If I am not wrong, the rains already started before we were finished. As we were almost finishing March, right? The rains had already started. And almost farmers already planted. Currently, what stage are you in? What stage are your crops in? What are you doing in your farm? What agronomic practices are you doing this week? What have you set yourself out to do this week? Tell me something about sustainable agriculture. I asked, do you think it is viable? Do you think it is achievable? Do you think it is profitable? And I mentioned, we'll be having a guest on call. We'll be calling Mr. Absalom Ila from Kisumu, and he'll be shedding some light into the topic. So if you have any questions, please, you can write them on our page, our farmers on Facebook, our farmers media on YouTube. We will be asking those questions for you. We will be asking those questions for you. We want you to have the information. We want you to have the information. We said last week, I think I said it somewhere, knowledge is very important, you know. Was it a proverb we said about knowledge being like a garden? If you don't have it, you cannot cultivate it, and something of the sort. Yes, make sure you attain the knowledge, make sure you use the knowledge, and that's what we do here at our farmers. Yes, help you attain knowledge so that you guys can be able to attain more profits from whatever you are doing. Back to our topic of discussion, sustainable agriculture. Sustainable agriculture, we've said we're looking at three aspects of it. Whatever you're doing has to put into mind about the food security. Are you able to provide food, enough food? Are you able to sustain yourself with the food that you are producing? The second thing was about the environmental aspect, and in this place I am looking at, are the activities you're doing helping degrade the environment, or are they helping maintain the environment? And the third thing was about the social equity thing, and we were saying um the activities you're doing as a farmer, as the society, are they actually helping you improve your lives? Are your lives getting better? Am I you still the same old person that you were with or without your farming activities? No difference. Yes. So those are three pillars. Those are three pillars that we need to be looking at. And those are the three pillars upon which sustainable agriculture is built on. It is built on that. And you see, the pillars that it is built on are also the same goals that you we aim at achieving with sustainable agriculture. And the first one is environmental health. The goals we aim at achieving with sustainable agriculture. The first one is environmental health. Environmental health, um, there is a broader aspect to it. So we start about the environment. The environment. Are we taking care of the environment? Are we helping reduce? Last week we said on climate smart agriculture, we said something about actually trying to reduce the levels of greenhouse gases that we emit to the environment. And that's the aspect of environmental health we want us to look at. Whatever we are doing should be able to help us reduce the effects we are having on the environment, like we are reducing the levels of gases we are emitting to the environment. And also, we can look at it from a perspective of, are you degrading the resources that we have? Are you we are talking about cell degradation. We are talking about water pollution. We are talking about air pollution. Like, sustainable agriculture is supposed to help us not to not to pollute our air, not to pollute our water, not to degrade our soils. And also, it will be coming in the second bit of the discussion, because I know there's a confusion between sustainable agriculture and organic farming. And I think we've done a show on organic farming before. If you didn't also watch that, make sure you do. We will be actually be clearing the difference, hapo katikati, but there's another aspect of how, in whatever way you are producing your produce, are they safe? Are they safe for consumption for the consumer? Are they safe for consumption? And then, so that is the first goal. We aim at achieving environmental health. The second goal is economic profitability. As said, agriculture is a business. Honey, it is a business. And I will repeat again, it's all about we want to, yes, achieve food security, but money is a good thing. Eh? Money is a good thing. Money is a good thing. Money must come out of this. We are not doing this thing for fun. No, we can't even afford to do that. Not with even the current economic situations we have in our countries, especially with this COVID thing. We can't do that. So, economic profitability. How profitable is it for you? How profitable does it get? We want to ensure that every farmer, with whatever you're doing, you are actually making profits out of it. Yeah, you are making profits out of it. And by this, we are talking about economic farming. We are talking about agribusiness. We don't want to talk about the subsistence farming. We are talking about economic farming, agribusiness. We want to ensure that whatever you're doing is actually profitable for you. It is profitable for you. And then the third goal is achieving social equity. Achieving social equity. And I think I've elaborated it. The agriculture we are doing is supposed to be helping us in one way or another, helping improve our living standards for you as a farmer and for the society as a whole, and for the society as a whole, and for the society as a whole. I want to go on a short break. We want to go on a short break. When we come back, I'll be taking us through the principles of achieving sustainability. The principles of achieving sustainability, so the principles of achieving sustainable agriculture. We'll also be looking at the importance of sustainable agriculture, the advantages of sustainable agriculture, and then the major part of it will be looking at the practices, and then the practices are Mr. Absalom Ila will be taking us through it. He will be taking us through it. We'll be asking him some questions and he'll take us through the practices that we need to do for us to achieve sustainable agriculture. Keep sending us your feedback on Facebook. We are a farmers. On YouTube, we are a farmers media. A farmers media. Send us your feedback, and also, as well as said, tell us what are you doing? What are you planning to do for the week in your farm? And also, I asked, what is inspiring you this week? What is your motivation this week? If you want to share, please holla, just post it. We will be reading it in a few, and we're going to take a break just right now. And when we come back, if you have any questions for our guest who will be on call in studio, please make sure you send your questions. We will be reading your questions. We'll be taking a short break to pay our bills. Stay tuned, and we will be back in a few.
Majina ni Emmanuel Lelei ama Olelei Lelei kwenye Facebook. Mimi nashughulika na drip installation, na hiyo ndio kazi ambayo tunaifanya. Kwanza kabisa ningependa kuwashukuru African Farmers Club kwa huu wakati ambao wameweza kunialika katika ofisi yao. Ningependa kusema ya kwamba venye nimeweza kualikwa mahali hapa, mimi ningesema ya kwamba itakuwa ni ushirikiano ulio mwema baina ya drip irrigation, Tips Hub na Africa Farmers Club. Nimekuwa nafanya hii kazi kwa muda mrefu. So far niko na 6 years kwa mambo na installation of drip, na kazi yenyewe ni nzuri, ninaipenda. Kitu ambacho ningependa kuwahimiza wananchi, hakuna mtu unaweza ukafanya kitu kama hujaweza kuipenda mwenyewe. So mimi napenda kazi yangu, kazi ambayo naifanya naipenda, na ndio sababu nimeweza kutilia maanani ama nimeweza kuweka kiliongo kwenye kazi ambayo naweza kuifanya ya drip installation. So kazi yetu tunaifanya, na leo nimeweza kupata hii nafasi ya kuweza kuwa pamoja na African Farmers Club. So ukitaka kunipata kwenye mtandao Facebook, utanipata kama Olelei Emmanuel, ama unipate na Olelei Drip Irrigation Tips Hub. Kwa Gmail utanipata emmanuel.lei@gmail.com, na kwenye YouTube bado utanipata kama Irrigation Tips Hub. Nambari yangu ya simu kwa wale ambao wanaweza kuwa wanauliza, nambari ya simu ni 0720041484. Ningependa kabisa kuweza kuonyesha emitter ni nini na kazi yake na umuhimu wake pia ni nini. Unapoitazama hapa kuna drip line, na utaona ukiangalia kwenye sehemu ya juu kuna sehemu moja iko na hizo shimo ambayo inatoa maji, hiyo tunaita emitters. So maji, wakati wote maji inatokea kwenye hizo emitters, na hiyo emitter ikiweza kuwa uchafu ikiweza kuingia humo ndani haiwezi kutoa hiyo maji. So emitters ni kitu muhimu sana kwa drip line, maana hiyo ndio ina release maji iweza kuenda kwa mmea. So ningependa kueleza tu kama mtaweza kujua wakati unafanya installation ya drip, kama wameinstall shamba yako, make sure unaangalia kila wakati hizo emitters kama zimeangalia juu ama zimeangalia chini. Zikiangalia chini, hapo in the bottom yake kuna kuanga na chances ya uchafu. Wakati uko na uchafu kwa tank, ipite kwa filter, ikifika pale itaweza kublock hizo shimo na zitaweza kutoa maji. Number 2, wakati tunafanya installation hapa kuna aina moja ya starter connectors, na ambayo sio starter connectors, hii tunaita main valve, ambayo ina uwezo unaweza ukaifunga mwenyewe ama ukaweza kuifungua kama unavyoona, kuna maji yanatoka, na kuna ambayo ni direct starter connectors. So hii ni mojawapo ya mkulima mwenye anaweza akatumia kitu kama hii, maana anaweza akacontrol, ama ako na maji kidogo, unaweza ukacontrol wakati umefanya installation yako, unaweza ukacontrol hii maji, maana hii itakuwa na kazi kubwa.
Good morning. How are you doing? How have you been? How has your Monday started? How is your week starting? How is your week started? How is your week coming along? I hope you are well. I hope you are out of the house. I hope actually you are up. You are ready to get something going on. You are ready to be productive, right? It is Monday. Don't start a day on a very low note. The week is starting today. So make sure you start it on a very high note and you are achieving everything you need to be achieving, right? Sawa sawa? Yes. Today we are talking about sustainable agriculture, and I've said if you have any questions or any comments you want to give me about sustainable agriculture, post them on our page on Facebook. We are a farmers. On YouTube we are at a farmers media. Okay. Tell us, what do you plan on doing during the week? We've said Monday on Performers is Farm Plan Monday, and I said we have a segment for you coming in after we are done with the live show. Farm Plan Monday will be coming in after the live show. Sawa? Yes, Farm Plan Monday will be coming in after the live show, and we will be talking about the activities you need to be doing on your farm depending on what activity you're doing on your farm. Today we have something on fertilizer application. I hope you stay tuned in and make sure you watch whatever we will be having for you. And as I mentioned, we'll be having a guest on call telling us more about sustainable agriculture, and we will be talking to Mr. Absalom Ila. We'll be talking to Mr. Absalom Ila in a few. And if you have any questions concerning sustainable agriculture, it would be wise if you sent them on our pages. I said Facebook, we are a farmers. YouTube, we are at a farmers media. Give us your feedback. Where are you watching the show from? Where are you watching the show from? We want to know, where are you watching the show from? Where are you watching the show from? Um, what activities do you plan on doing this week on your farm? And also, I asked, by the way, what is getting you moving this week? This week, what is motivating you this week? I want to know what is motivating you this week. I'll be telling you what is motivating me this week. I'll be telling you what is motivating me this week. I'll be sharing a little inspirational thing with you later on. Yes, so make sure you stay tuned in for all that. You see, at Afromas, we have great things happening. Want to educate you so that you can be able to attain your knowledge, right? When you attain your knowledge and you use your knowledge well, you are able to attain your profits, grow your business. We said agriculture is a business. It is a business. It will always be a business. So let's make sure it is a business for you and make sure it is working for you. Um, a reminder again, COVID is around. So as you're getting out of the house, if you're going you'll be in a public place, make sure you are putting on your mask. And your mask should cover your mouth and nose. Sawa? Okay. Make sure you are maintaining social distance as a distance of 1.5 meters. Anyone might be having COVID. Trust no one but yourself. Sawa sawa. Yes. The other thing, wash your hands regularly. 20 seconds of washing your hands, or rather sanitize. Whatever works for you. Sanitize. You'll be good to go. Protect yourself, protect your family, protect your neighbor. Sawa sawa. If you have no business out of the house, make sure you are staying back in the house. And any other measures that the government is keeping in place, make sure we are adhering to it. It is Monday. um for a very long time, Mondays were never my favorite days. Nah, I didn't know. I always feel like most people, especially people who work on the corporate world, you kinda, when it's Monday, you have Monday blues. I understand the feeling. Mondays are very good days. It's like you're coming from the weekend. The weekend was all chilled. You didn't have to get up very early in the morning. Your day was a little bit relaxed, not too much going on. And then you have Monday. After like a 2 days break, you have Monday. Monday is here, and then you have to be starting a whole week, planning everything. Oh, everything is in a rush. Like the movements are all over the place. It is just too much going on. And then I started living Mondays. And it didn't happen like um it didn't happen like suddenly. It is something I cultivated day in, day out, cultivate day in, day out. Did I tell you? If I realized whenever I plan, whenever I plan for my week on Sunday. So on Sunday, I sit down in the afternoon. I plan my week. This is what I'm supposed to be doing on Monday. On Tuesday, I'll be doing this. On Wednesday, on Thursday, on Friday. On Saturday, I'm always chilled. Eh? Yes. Saturday, maybe go to church, relax. Sunday, visit family kidogo, catch up with friends, go back to planning your week. The moment you have everything planned out, you know what you're getting to be doing during the week. When the week starts, it's not like you're being ambushed. It's not like someone is just coming and telling you, now you have to do this. No, you know what you had planned to do. You had everything laid out. It is, you find it to be easily flowing. It finds it to be easily flowing. Planning is important. Planning is important. There's something, failing to plan is actually planning to fail. Yes, planning is important. And even for your farming activities, planning is important. Sawa sawa? Yes, planning is very, very important. And that's why we have Farm Plan Monday today. Make sure you are watching whatever we have for Farm Plan Monday today. Okay, okay. Um, Before we went on a break, we were discussing about the what sustainable agriculture is. We already covered that. We looked at the pillars of sustainable agriculture, which we already said, and we said it is about the environment, it is about the economics, and it's about the food security. You know, we covered all these things, and then we looked at the goals we aim at achieving with sustainable agriculture. And we said the first one is to achieve environmental health, the second one is for economic profitability, and the third one is achieving social equity. We already did that. We already did that. And we have certain practices that you have to be doing in order for us to achieve sustainable agriculture, in order for us to be achieving sustainable agriculture. And even before we get into the practices, I want to us to look at the principles to achieving sustainability. I said sustainability, it is something that has to be done over a long time. So it is an agriculture, we are practicing agriculture that will last us over a long time. Over a long time. So it's a long term thing. It is not short term. And I said, um, someone yesterday was asking me, what's the difference between sustainable agriculture and organic farming? Yes. What is the difference between sustainable agriculture and organic farming? I don't know. You, as a viewer, do you know what the difference is? Do you? No, you don't? Okay. We'll be discussing that just in a few. If you are not aware of what the difference is between sustainable agriculture and organic farming. But I will remind you again, we did something on organic farming. Watch our previous shows. Sawa. Now today we are doing something on sustainable agriculture. I hope you will get the difference. I hope you do. I actually hope you do. Um, I said when we were looking at the actually pillars and we looked at the environment as one of them. You know, the environment consists of certain things, a lot of things. We have land, we have soil, we have water, like we have all these natural resources that are helping us in our we have all these activities that are actually helping us in our activities that we are doing that are very, very important. Okay, sawa. I want to look at the principles to achieving sustainability. Principles to achieving sustainability. I said when we are doing sustainable agriculture, we have to make good use of the resources that we have around. Sawa sawa. Make good use of the resources that we have around. We have to make good use of the resources that we have around. The resources I'm talking about is soil, land, water. So the first principle of achieving sustainability is improving the efficient use of the natural resources we have. Efficient use of the natural resources we have around. So for soil, it will be if we are to improve the efficiency, we maximize on the usage, but we don't overutilize. We don't overutilize and we don't degrade the soils. Sawa. For water, we will be using very minimal water. We'll be using very minimal water. We are avoiding wastage. We are avoiding wastage. And if there's a way you can recycle water to be using them for your activities, well and good. It is also advisable. Very, very advisable. The second thing, it is like you aim at conserving, protecting, and enhancing the natural resources. You see, the first one, we are making the efficient use. We have them, we have the resources. How are we using them? Are we using them efficiently? Are we using them efficiently? The water we have, are we using it efficiently? Like, are we wasting or are we not wasting? The second one is actually about and conserving the resources that we have. Conservation of the environment has been a thing that has always been talked about. So we are talking of conserving. Let's take an instance of conserving the soil, right? Soil is one of the resources we have under land. So let's talk about conserving the soil. How are we conserving the soil? What practices are we undertaking this to conserve the soil? We could be using cover crops to avoid soil erosion so that we can conserve the soil, right? We could be mulching our farms to protect the soil, maintain the water in the soil, avoid erosion. That is one way of doing it. Like, the aim is we already have these resources and we don't want to degrade them. So here it's not about wastage. It is more about degrading. It is more about degrading. It is more about pollution. It is more about pollution. How can we actually do our practices in a way that we don't pollute the water, we don't pollute the air, and we don't pollute the soil? The third principle is protecting and improving rural livelihoods and social well-being. I said when we started, we talked about social equity as a goal, right? Now, also, when we are talking about principles of achieving sustainability, you have to, you have to, you have to, in one way or another. This agriculture is supposed to be improving the rural livelihoods of people, like the way these people are living. We mentioned earlier, I think, was it a show we did on rainfed farming? And we mentioned that most people who do farming are in the rural areas, right? They are in the rural areas. Most of the people who do farming are in the rural areas because you see the cities, we are here in the corporate world, we have very minimal land for farming, which is okay. So these people who are living in the rural areas, their lives have to be getting better. So for everything that we are doing, for in order for us to achieve sustainability, their lives must be improved. We start by the farmer. The farmer's life must be improved. The farmer's life must be improved from the activities they are taking, and the society in which they are staying. The society in which they are staying must be improved. They must be improved. Um, Another principle it is the last principle. Another principle of achieving sustainability is actually good governance. Good governance. Good governance looks at the policies we have. What policies has the country put in place? As the policies put in place, we have a case whereby you find the policies put in place, instead of aiming us at achieving sustainability and protecting our environment and making maximum use of the resources we have, they actually help us do the opposite. Like, by what we are doing, considering the policies we have around, instead of us enhancing our environment, making good use of our resources, we are actually degrading them, and we are actually doing the opposite of what we're supposed to be doing. I'll give an instance. So we have a situation whereby the subsidies, oh, I think last week the subsidies on fertilizers were reduced. They were reduced. Subsidies on fertilizers in Kenya were reduced. They were reduced. And so the moment they have been reduced, you see, we are buying fertilizers at a cheaper price. And when you buy fertilizers at a cheaper price, most farmers can actually afford the fertilizer. Sour, yes. And then you find there's a farmer who can't actually, who didn't apply the fertilizers well in one way or another. Kwanza sahi during the rainy season, okay. And then the fertilizer is washed away. The fertilizer is washed away. We call it runoff. Yes, the fertilizer is washed away and it gets into our water bodies and it pollutes our water bodies. You see, it was a good thing that the government was actually subsidizing the fertilizers for the farmers to be able to afford. But in one way or another, it is actually taking us a step backwards from achieving sustainability. Okay? So, good governance is all about the policies that we have in place, the policies that we have in place that are actually either helping us achieve sustainability or helping us not to achieve sustainability. How important is sustainable agriculture? Sustainable agriculture will, one, help you to produce sufficient food because it's of a long term thing. It is of a long term thing. So we combine it with whatever we talked about, climate smart agriculture. It is supposed to help us achieve production of sufficient food. Two, sustainable agriculture will help us protect the environment. We said the environment is one pillar. It's one of the pillars. It is one of the pillars of sustainable agriculture. Like it is one thing you have to be putting in mind. Everything I am doing, I have to be protecting the environment. So with sustainable agriculture, it helps you to protect the environment. Three, Three, it will help one sustain the economic viability of agricultural systems. Sawa? Sawa. Economic viability. We said economics muhimu. Pesa kidogo kidogo muhimu. We have to look at whatever you are inputting, whatever you are outputting. What is the difference? What is the difference? Those are the principles we look at in achieving sustainability. And we've also talked about the importance of sustainable agriculture. I said, if you have feedback, send us your feedback on Facebook. We are a farmers. On YouTube, we are at a farmers media. So I want to give you some weather updates. Um, the weather updates as released by the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, and this is working for today. So this was released yesterday, and this is working. Well, this was the weather predicted between yesterday at 9 till today 9 p.m. again. So I will go a little bit more of getting into regions. So for the central Nairobi and parts of eastern region, which includes Nyeri, Murang'a, Kirinyaga, Embu, Meru, Kiambu, Tharaka Nithi, Laikipia, Nyandarua, and Nairobi. There was expected to be having showers during the night, and in some places there will be having rainfall in the morning, and also there might be having showers in the afternoon. And for the western Nyanza, central and south Rift Valley regions, which include Kakamega, Vihiga, Busia, Bungoma, Kisumu, Kisii, Siaya, Homa Bay, Kericho, Nandi, Bomet, Nakuru, Elgeyo Marakwet, Baringo, Uasin Gishu, Trans Nzoia, and Narok. So it's more of the entire Rift Valley region and sides of Western. The former Western province, yes, and Nyanza more of towards lowland because we are looking at Kisumu, Siaya, Homa Bay. Showers and thunderstorms are expected during the night. Sunny intervals today during the day. So it is good for you to be carrying out your activities. It is sunny. It is sunny in the morning. If you knew, if you knew, if you knew, you would have planned for your activities. Um, Later on, the day, it is expected that you might be having shower and thunderstorms. So make sure you're done with whatever you're doing before the afternoon and you do whatever you need to be doing. And then we have another region, Northwestern stroke Lake Turkana region. It includes West Pokot, Turkana, and Samburu. You see those upper parts, Ukoju? Yes. They were expecting cloudy conditions during the night. So today, so sunny intervals in the morning, and then showers and thunderstorms are expected in the afternoon. Also, the same thing. Do whatever you need to be doing in the afternoon. Make sure you're already done whatever you're doing. It might be raining. The northeastern region, including Marsabit, Garissa, Mandera, Wajir, and Isiolo, rains are expected anywhere towards the morning and showers in the afternoon. Sawa sawa. Southeastern lowlands region, watu wangu, here in Kajiado, Machakos, Makueni, Kitui, Taita Taveta. Rains are expected in some places in the morning. There might be showers in the afternoon. So make sure you are also staying warm. And then the coastal region, it includes Kwale, Mombasa, Kilifi, Lamu, and Tana River. Uh, expecting rains in the morning and showers expected in the afternoon. So as you can see, entirely, like in the whole of Kenya, we have more of a lot of showers, a lot of rains happening. Make sure you are planning your activities well. Sawa sawa. I said Fun Plan Monday is coming right after the live show. We want to go on a break. After the break, we are getting on a call with Mr. Absalom Ila to shed some light into sustainable agriculture. Sawa sawa. Make sure you're staying tuned in. If you have questions, send us your questions on Afamas on Facebook, Afamas Media on YouTube. We'll be glad to answer your questions. And any other feedback you have. You want to tell us what you're planning to do during the week? Send it. You want to tell me what is motivating you for the week? Please tell me. I'll be telling you what is motivating me this week after the break. So we're taking a short break. We'll be back in a few. Make sure you're staying tuned in.
Mic check. Unanisikia? Is my sound okay?
Stand by in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You are on air.
Join me, Conrad Kibe, on the Farm Drive every weekday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. right here on A Farmers Media, where we tell you the story of an African farmer. We give you COVID-19 updates, and most interestingly, we give you the pan of the day. Follow us on all our social media platforms at A Farmers with a Z at the end on Facebook, and definitely A Farmers Media on YouTube. See you then. Allah. Allah.
Greenhouse farming is a unique farm practice of growing crops within a sheltered structure covered by a transparent material or a partially transparent material. Greenhouses are often used for growing flowers, vegetables, fruits, and transplants. Seed tray racks can also be used to stack seed trays inside the greenhouse for later transplanting. The main purpose of greenhouses is to provide favorable growing conditions and protect the crops from unfavorable weather and various pests.
How are you doing, fantastic people? How is your morning? How have you woken up? How is your day coming along? I know. Yeah. How is your day coming along? Is it good? Mine here in the studio is very good, very good. And I can see we are having a conversation here about sustainable agriculture, which we were looking at before we went on the break. And I promised you we would be having a guest on call shedding us more light onto us about sustainable agriculture. But before then, I can see I have some feedback here that I would really like to read and appreciate. I told you I love feedback, by the way. I really do. I do. I have Bello Abdullahi. He says he is watching live from Zaria, Nigeria. Thank you so much, Bello, for watching this show. If you have any other feedback, you can let us know. Tell us what's going on. What are you doing? What are you doing for your farm activities this week? Let us know. Um, we also have Nwamaka Akineye. I hope I got the pronunciation right. And if I didn't, I am sorry. Please forgive me. You're saying you're watching live from Akure, Ondo State. Is that in Nigeria? Please let us know. Yes. We also have another viewer, Boles Balea. He says the Liberia Farmers Development Corporations needs to be part of that and that. We will reach out to you. You'll tell us more about that. Thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in the show and giving us your feedback. We are glad that you are actually watching the show. It feels good, eh? It feels good. I wouldn't want to be talking here and no one is watching, and we appreciate your feedback. Um, we are getting back into our discussion. We are still talking about sustainable agriculture, right? We've already looked at the goals we aim at achieving with sustainable agriculture. We've defined sustainable agriculture. We've looked at the principles of achieving sustainable agriculture. Now I want us to discuss about the practices that we need to be doing in order to achieve sustainable agriculture. And as we discuss them, we are going to discuss them in form of I'll be asking a certain professional some questions and he'll be guiding us through. So we are going to get on a call with Mr. Absalom Illa in a few, and he will be telling us more about agriculture. So sustainable agriculture. Mr. Absalom Illa is a lecturer at Maseno University in the School of Agriculture, Food Security, and Environmental Science. And he is actually currently pursuing a PhD in crop science at Egerton University. And also, he has been working for the previous years with ICRISAT on sorghum agronomy. Yes, so he's a person who's been in the field for quite a while, and he'll be shedding more light onto us about sustainable agriculture. So we are going to try and get him on call and see if we can have this discussion right here, and he can give us more information about sustainable agriculture. Sawa sawa? Yes. So let me try calling Mr. Absalom Ila and see if we can get him through.
To copy this tune, dial 11 for 1 shilling and 50 cents daily.
Hello.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Ila.
Good morning to you. How are you?
I am doing fine. How have you woken up today?
I'm fine.
You're fine?
Yes.
Are you in Kisumu currently?
Pardon?
Are you in Kisumu currently?
Yes, I'm in Kisumu.
How is the weather in Kisumu?
It's fine. We are receiving rains.
Uh-huh.
People are planted and they're expecting their crops to grow well.
Okay, and for you, what are you planning on doing this week? Maybe on more towards farm activities? What are you planning for this week?
In fact, my crops are germinated
Uh-huh.
and basically based on research. So currently we are studying the basics of data collection and management of crops, especially weeding is almost starting off. Yes.
Okay, so I have called you. I had informed you earlier I would call you from a farmers, and we are talking with farmers about sustainable agriculture. Okay.
Yes.
I just want you to do a brief introduction of yourself, maybe, and then
Yes.
I can get into what people have been asking so that you can shed more light into it. Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. So introduce yourself, Kidogo, and then we get into the topic of discussion.
Yes, I'm Absalom Ila,
Mm-hmm.
a lecturer in the School of Agriculture, Food Security and Environmental Science
Mm-hmm.
in Maseno University.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also currently involved in my PhD program at Tigran University,
Mm-hmm.
basically studying crop sciences, agronomy.
Okay, we wish you all the
And
best.
my research work is based on striker management in maize,
Uh-huh.
and we are looking at ways we can reduce the effect of striker, especially in Western Kenya.
Okay.
Striker being an important weed in maize in Western Kenya. Otherwise, I've also had some stint of work in sorghum production,
Mm-hmm.
especially on the aspects of pathology when I worked with ICRSAT, that is International Crop Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics.
Okay.
And we were dealing with the sorghum management in terms of pathology and striker management.
All right.
Yes.
I think I might be giving you another call during the week. A little bit, the call has been disconnected, but let us get him back so that he can give us more information about the topic. So you've heard we are talking with Mr. Absalom Ila, who is a lecturer at Maseno University, and he'll be telling us more. He'll be telling us more about sustainability in agriculture, and that is what we want to hear from him. And I said, if you have any other questions that you need clarified, this is a professional. He will do that for you. Keep sending us your questions, keep sending us your feedback about what he's talking about and from what you think he's saying. We will appreciate your feedback and we will be reading it. So make sure you're sending it.
Oh, I lost you.
I'm sorry. The phone call has been interrupted.
It's okay.
But I just want us to get quickly into the discussion.
Yeah.
From a professional point of view, because I know you've been in the agriculture industry for way too long,
Yeah.
how would you define to a local farmer what sustainable agriculture is?
Now, I want to give it the most basic approach.
Uh-huh.
And sustainable agriculture basically is a concept that looks at production of abundant food without depleting the earth's resources or polluting the environment.
Uh-huh. So
we
it's
want to look at sustainability, where the resources that we have, which are limited, are sustainable, that we can use them over a long period of time without affecting the environment.
uh-huh. So it's a long-term thing, and then you have to put in mind the environment.
Yes.
Okay. So when we are putting about, you've mentioned something also about the resources that we have.
Yes.
So for farming, I would like to look at land, so soil as a resource that we have,
Yes.
and water as a resource that we have. Sawa. What practices can this local farmer or this other farmer who is doing the farming activities, what practices can they actually do to help in their soil management and their water management for them to ensure that they are actually achieving sustainable agriculture?
Yes, many a times we use soil as a media for production of our crops. Although we have other sources of media, we can grow crops in other media, but soil is one of the basic media that we use, and therefore we need to conserve it so that we ensure that it's sustainable. So in terms of soil management, we have a number of approaches that we can use to ensure sustainability. One is what we call agroforestry. That is using tree species that are compatible with our crops so that we can sustain the environment. One key area of agroforestry, what we call alley cropping, where we have agroforestry species which are grown in the land, and then at one point they are cut down, or we reduce them, then the certain shed their leaves and improve on the litter in the soil. So this will improve soil organic matter, and it helps to conserve the soil. We also have mulching as a practice where we tend to reduce the amount of water loss from the soil. water and we conserve that soil. We also have use of cover crops. Sometimes we grow our crops and the soil is left fallow or bare when there's no crop after harvesting. We need to include what we call cover crops like dolichoslaplas, which is going to improve on the fertility of the soil, reduce erosion, and renew the nutrients within the soil so that next time when we plant, we have adequate fertility. Something which is also very important soil management is precision in nutrient management. Many times we end up just adding nutrients like fertilizers to the soil without considering what the soil requires. And therefore, some excess nutrients end up in water, polluting the environment. So we need to establish, first of all, the nutrient deficiency in the soil, test our soils so that we know what we need to add. And that's what we call precision in nutrient management. Even in terms of chemical application, we don't need to apply chemicals to our soils. So this will end up polluting the environment, but we need to apply what is necessary and what will be relevant for the particular crop. Others include crop rotation, where you plant one particular crop in this particular area, then you follow it with a different crop. That is, for example, a crop from a different family. So if you plant a cereal this time, you follow it with a legume so that you can increase the nutrients intake in the soil, that is through natural fixation and things like that. So that helps to improve on soil management.
Okay, and for water management?
Now, water is also a scarce resource, and I want to look at water in terms of rain-fed agriculture.
Okay.
We find that most of our farmers rely on rainfall, and in Kenya, we experience what we call bimodal rainfall pattern, where we have the long rains between March and June and shortest in September and December. Now, sometimes the rains come, then the soil is flooded, then all the water moves into the lake. We need to ensure that we have water harvesting techniques during the rainy season through reservoirs and dams so that this water can be tapped and then used during periods of scarcity. We also need to ensure that if we are doing rain-fed agriculture, then there should be timely crop operations. For example, you need to plant at the correct time when at the start of the rain, but you don't wait for the rain to start and start that preparation. So have time to operation so that you have effective and efficient management or utilization of the available moisture. There is also the aspect of irrigation, and this should be the use of efficient irrigation methods. Sometimes we just plant, but we can use things like drip irrigation to ensure that the water is well used. We also need to ensure that we do need-based irrigation as opposed to current-based irrigation. Sometimes we just apply water for the sake of it. But when we do need-based irrigation, it means that we have to establish the crop water requirement before we can know when to apply water and how much to apply so that we don't waste that water. So that is what we need to consider in terms of management of water.
So water harvesting is very important.
Water harvesting is very important, and then application method and application time is also very important.
And from what I've heard, any farmer, I think currently right now in Kenya, any farmer who wanted to start doing their things should have planted by now because the rainy season already started, right?
Some people are plowing right now.
Right now.
So, and we have what we call the length of the season. So the rest will start now, and maybe we're ready for about 90 days or 100 days. So if you plant later, maybe the next week, then your crop will require 120 days. It means that at the critical point of water requirement of the crop, that is like for maize and tasseling, there will be no water. The rains will have stopped. So your crop will be destroyed, and therefore will not get adequate harvest or proper harvest. So we need to have timely operations. You plant preparation done at the correct time, planting at the correct time so that you get full utilization of the available moisture.
Proper timing.
Yes.
And then there's something you mentioned, I think when you were mentioning about soil management, you mentioned something about agroforestry. And I think, because I know someone might be watching me, say someone has planted something like maize. What kind of trees do you plant them with? Because I know there are plants, if you plant them, they might actually be taking in more water than the crops. What kind of trees do you use?
Every home in Kenya, you find trees like eucalyptus. Eucalyptus is not an agroforestry tree. It's a tree which I think you have heard about Gravilea tree.
Mm-hmm.
We have what we call Sesbania.
Mm-hmm.
Sesban. We have Leukemia. These are agroforestry trees. When you go to any nursery, you talk about Gravelia. They'll give you Gravelia. They'll give you those seedlings. And when you plant Gravelia in your homestead, even on the edge of your home, it will do well, or it will grow well with your crop, so that doesn't compete with your crop. But something like eucalyptus will compete for moisture and may even have a allelopathic effect on the main crop. So you need to choose wisely the species, the agroforestry species that you plant.
Okay, so yeah, that's when people can look at that, do your research, and try to find as much information as you can about it. So I want to know something else. What can the farmers actually do about the climate?
Now, when we look at climate, we realize that there is what we call climate change, which is a reality with that. Climate change and variability. And this is any change in climate over time, but basically due to natural variability or due to human activity. But many times, climate change is attributed to human activity. We have what we call greenhouse gases, which trap, they are those that absorb infrared radiation from the atmosphere, and therefore they trap heat, causing warming of the Earth's surface. So you have escalated temperature. And some of these greenhouse gases include carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. Now, like something like nitrous oxide comes from agricultural activities like nitrogen inputs and within the soil. So we need to avoid activities that accelerate these greenhouse gases. But now that is to do with climate change. Now, if that is what we have as a problem, how do we approach it as farmers? One, we need to rely on climate information. In Kenya, for instance, we have what we call the Kenya Met, or Kenya Meteorological Department, which gives climate information to farmers on a daily basis. So, like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, they had given us the projection that the rains will start for each and every location in this time, and they expect it to go for this time. You want to have either normal rains, below normal, or above normal. So, as a farmer, you need to capitalize on this. Are we together?
Yes, yes.
Yes, you need to capitalize on this so that you know where to start, so that we rely on climate information. Number two, we need to know the start of the season and the cessation of rain, and then we know the length of the season. Now, when we do this, then we can be able to know which particular crops are going to be grown at what time. Many a times we want to grow maize from the
Okay. Okay. We've talked to Mr. Absalom Ila, and Mr. Absalom Ila has been shedding a little light into the practices that we can actually do and practice in order for us to be able to manage our soil, our water, and even maneuver around with the climate. And he has mentioned something about agroforestry, crop rotation, use of cover crops. He mentioned something about timely planting, timing of the seasons. Like everything is done with a plan. Like everything has to be done at the correct time that it needs to be done. He has also mentioned something about harvesting of rain, which is very important. I think because most of the farmers in Africa rely on rain-fed agriculture, it is very important that we actually um, harvest rain for in order for us to continue planting even when we don't have the rains. That has been quite informative. And I want us to take a break, and then we will be back after a few. But before we take the break, Kingsley Kanu Suge is watching from Enugu, Nigeria. Thank you so much, Kingsley, for watching the show. We are glad that you're watching, and we hope that you've gotten to learn something new from the discussion we've just had. We'll be concluding the discussion after the break, and then after that, we will be having Farm Plan Monday. I said it's Monday. It is Monday. It is Monday. When it's Monday, here on our farmers, it is Farm Plan Monday. We plan for our farm activities. We lay down what we need to do. We guide you on how you're supposed to be doing what you'll be doing. And today we'll be doing something on fertilizer application. Sawa? make sure you're staying tuned in to watch whatever we prepared for you. It will be quite informative for you. We're taking a short break. We'll be back in a few. Make sure you are staying tuned in.
One of the most important activities on our farms is scouting. Why is it important? Because you get to know what is affecting your crops on a daily basis. Join me, Noah Nasiali Kadima, every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m., where we guide you to attain knowledge and grow profits.
Are you a farmer facing challenges in your farm? Pests, diseases, or even unsatisfactory produce? Worry no more. The solution is here. Join us every Tuesday on Diagnostic Tuesday, where we talk about various issues affecting agriculture and interacting with experts with knowledge in different sectors of agriculture to provide you with appropriate solutions, giving hope to farmers to attain better yields, to achieve financial success and development. Our farmers attain knowledge and grow profits.
Thank you so much for watching the show. This is the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Lillian Thomas, and we are glad that you've been joining us. And you are joining us in the discussion about sustainable agriculture. Before we went on the break, we were talking to Mr. Absalom Ila, a lecturer at Maseno University, School of Agriculture and Environmental Science, and also currently pursuing a PhD in Egerton doing crop science. And he has been working in egg research for quite a long while, working on sorghum agronomy. Okay. Um, we had to end the call a little bit because of some challenges we were having, but I want us to go back again. But I will remind us, he has told us some few things about what we need to be doing in order to be able to achieve practicing sustainable agriculture. He mentioned things like agroforestry, crop rotation, use of cover crops, water harvesting, timely planning of the seasons. All these things are coming into play in order for us to be able to achieve sustainable agriculture. So, right about now, I want us to get back on call with Mr. Absalom Ila, and he will be shedding more light again. A few questions that are remaining that had been asked before, and that is exactly what I want us to be talking about just right now.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
I don't know if my producer can tell me if he's audible enough.
Pardon?
Okay, so Mr. Ila, I am very sorry for the interruption that we had a little bit.
It's okay. Hello?
Hello, yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I'm getting you.
Yeah, I'm very sorry for the interruption that we had a little bit.
Yes.
I want us to cover some few other things that we hadn't finished on.
Yes.
So we talked about what we can do about our soil and our water and what we can do about the climate. Sawa.
Yes.
Right now, because you've been in this industry for quite a while, I want to know what are the challenges that farmers might be facing in when they are trying to enforce sustainable agriculture, even at the Ministry of Agriculture, like generally in the agriculture industry. What are the challenges that people are facing when trying to enforce sustainable agriculture?
Yes, as I had mentioned, sustainable agriculture is a wide thing, and therefore it involves the cooperation of various sectors. One of the major challenges is the ever increasing human population against the fixed resources. You see, like for example, land is a fixed resource. And with the increasing human population, people are expanding even in terms of settlement and therefore reducing the acreage available for agriculture. So when that is reduced, you may not even have enough land for activities like crop rotation and things like that. We also have industrialization and infrastructural development. You go everywhere, you see construction of roads and industries, and this is also, encroaching into the arable land that we have. So this leads to a decrease in the agricultural land and therefore affecting the effective enforcement of sustainable agricultural activities. We have the major world problem of climate change and variability. And this has a serious effect on crop production, just a crop and animal production. Because of climate change and variability, we have effects like heavy rainfall events that even end up with flooding. And when this happen, then they end up affecting our crops. Sometimes when you have floods, then you sweep the crops, and even what you had planned to do cannot be done. So that has been a major problem. We have cultural backgrounds, that is human beings having specific ways of doing things. So that when you try to bring some of these ideas that aim at sustainable agriculture, then people will tend to resist change. That is, so people will want to do things the way they have been doing it for a long period of time and may not be, we try to be resistant to change. Therefore, the cultural backgrounds also tend to affect the way we do our farming, and therefore this negatively impacts on sustainable agriculture. Plus many other things that will always come in with new things.
Okay, and what can actually be done?
Things that can be done.
Yeah.
One, in terms of something like, I think, let me approach maybe one specific area, like cultural backgrounds. For example, there are people who they are with less. Let's take an example of pastoralists. They keep huge number of livestock or big numbers of livestock, and this affects the land carrying capacity. So this will affect the land. There will be degradation of land, and therefore cannot be sustained crop production now. So we need to have proper livestock units or a number of livestock that can be able to be sustained. We have been talking about zero grazing, which is sometimes quite economical. So instead of having 100 goats or 100 cows, you can keep 3 dairy animals, which will have economic returns, better economic returns than keeping 100 zebus, which will only fetch maybe 100,000 shillings. So you get that kind of approach. You need to change our way of doing things so that we approach it effectively. Then, in terms of climate change, we need to approach it from the sustainable way of doing things. For example, if it is crop production, I think there's something that maybe I did mention that there is what we call organic farming. When we use organic products, then they don't interfere with the environment so much. The organic farming majorly looks at the production of crops and livestock without necessarily using chemicals, fertilizers, and pesticides. There's a reduced use of this, but we use natural methods, traditional methods, and available methods that can be used to produce crops without impacting negatively on the environment. So if we use such, then we can sustain our environment better.
Okay, actually, someone had asked me the difference between sustainable agriculture and organic farming. And I think it would be okay if we told them organic farming is a way of practicing sustainable agriculture, right?
Yes, organic farming is just one of the approaches of practicing sustainable agriculture.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Ila. And I
Yes.
actually like the ideology that you've brought about the culture. I think
Yes.
people are so used into even ndio si ufanya vitu.
Yes. In fact, when we have agricultural extension, we are trained to train people to have a change in their knowledge, attitude, and skills, so that you have a new shift or a shift in way of doing things. So if you knew that the only food that you can eat is ugali, then you can move away from that and know that even rice can be a starch, even beans can be a food, so that you have a change in attitude, a change in skill of doing things, a change in the knowledge, so that you can improve your income and even way of life.
So we start by changing the mentality actually of these people, like mama wa home. Unajua people in ushago are like babu zetu walifanya, mama
Yes, so lazima tufanye hivyo. Yes.
Okay, so we'll work on that. And then one last question.
Yes.
How profitable is it to practice sustainable agriculture? How profitable is it? How economical is it actually?
It is economical because if, for example, if we look at that approach of organic farming as a way of sustainable agriculture, then we are looking at social economic aspects of sustainable agriculture.
Okay.
We are looking at improvement in the food production in a sustainable way, but attaining social economic well-being of the farm. So you have improved income, but in a sustained way over a long period of time. So economically, it will be adding value to you. So you'll improve your yields, and then you are going to do it over a long period of time instead of just harvesting once and then you destroy the environment. So we have sustainably harvest. We have a sustained production of crops over a long period of time, and when we maintain the yield, so it is economical to produce like that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Ila, for giving us
Yes.
the insights on sustainable agriculture. We are glad that you actually agreed to do this with us.
Thank you.
And we are grateful. And I think I might be calling you again during the week because you've told me you're doing something on striga on maize.
Yes.
During the week, I might be doing something on the cereals, especially now I want to look at maize, the pests, the diseases. I might be calling you on the same.
It's okay.
I hope you will also agree to give insights. Sour.
Fine, thank you.
Okay, I want to wish you a happy day and a fruitful week. Be productive and may you have a good day.
Thank you, Lillian. Welcome.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay. Um, we've been listening to Mr. Absalom Ila, a lecturer at Maseno University, as he was giving us insights about sustainable agriculture. And he has advised us on the practices that we can actually be doing in order to achieve sustainable agriculture. And I like the ability he brought about culture actually influencing um, to an extent to how much we can actually enforce sustainable agriculture. We have this mentality of um, people have been doing this and it has been working. So even for me, I'll keep doing it because it has been working. Sawa. And we are trying to get rid of that mentality. So we are educating. Educate. Hata wewe mwenye umepata the information, pass it to your neighbor. Like, let's change the attitudes that our farmers have out here. You know, they are doing very wrong practices in the name of this is what my mother used to do. This is what people in the past have done and it has always worked. We want to shift from that mentality. I think we've covered almost everything about sustainable agriculture. This is where the world is headed towards. I told you, in around 2050, we'll be having 9 billion people. We need enough food to sustain these people. And we can only do this with the sustainable agriculture. Sawa. And I want us to like start kidogo kidogo. You know, if it is you're going to start by harvesting rain, sawa. You start by crop rotation this time. Okay, next time you're trying to do agroforestry. That is what we are encouraging. And tell us how it works out for you. Give us your feedback on our pages, Facebook. We are on A Farmers. On YouTube, we are at A Farmers Monday. And it is Monday. And I will remind you, when it is Monday, here on A Farmers, it is Farm Plan Monday. And I said, if you want to be very productive, I told you, this is what I do. Personally for me, I plan my week on Sundays. I plan my week on Sundays. So I know on Monday, this is what I'm supposed to do. Till Friday, I know the activities that are lined up for the week. So as a farmer, I hope you've also planned your activities for the week. Sawa sawa. Like you know what you're supposed to be doing this week. You've like Mr. Ila has mentioned something about timing. When you're doing agriculture, you have to be very precise on the timing. Everything has to be done at the correct time if you need maximum productivity. Sawa sawa. So make sure you have planned your week vizuri. And today on Farm Plan, we did something on fertilizer application, and that's what you'll be seeing after this live show. You'll be seeing Farm Plan Monday, and I hope it gives you insight on how you plan your week, whatever you need to do, how you need to do it correctly. And this has been the Breakfast Show. I have been your host, Lilian Thomas. Noah Nasiali Kadima will be coming in for the mid-morning show at 11:30. And then later on in the day, we'll be having Conrad Kibe for the Farm Drive Show. It's been good. It's been real. We've had a good time. It has been a good discussion. And as I mentioned, and I keep mentioning, if you have something that you need us to discuss, something you need us to address, make sure you are reaching us on our pages. Tell us, communicate to us. What do you want us to talk about? We will gladly do that for you. And we will be having a professional, most times, educating us through, guiding us through. So if you have questions, send them to us. And then we will get you covered. Everything will be done for you. And I hope you'll be able to learn and enjoy. And I asked you when we were starting the show, what inspires you this week? So I'll tell you something small. I like storytelling. I do a lot of storytelling, so I'm sorry. But I'll tell you something small about my weekend. So on Saturday, I usually go to church on Saturday, but we have the lockdown thing and the cessation of movements, and we can't go to church. So we decided to do our home worship somewhere. And the home worship that we did, we went to visit a friend of ours. This friend of ours, last week, she was very unlucky and she got hit by a car. She got hit by a car. And so, yes, on Saturday when we were visiting her, she's in a condition whereby she can't walk. She can't move. She can't do anything. Like literally, you have to support her, hold her, and guide her in doing anything. And she's supposed to be undertaking a surgery later on this week in order for her to be able to get back on her feet. And you see, I was reflecting on this as I was coming today morning to work, and I was like, we take too many things for granted. We take too many things for granted. We think it's okay for us. It is our right for us to be working. It is our right for us to be seeing. It is your right for you to be listening to me, honey. It's not. It is not. It is not. For me, I feel like it is a blessing that God is bestowing upon us. It is blessings that we get. Sawa? It is blessings we are having. For me, um, hers, her story, from what I saw on Saturday, I was like, this lady right now can't do anything. She can't be any productive. And as I came in the morning, I was like, I have everything. I have my eyes, I have my ears, I have my legs. Everything is properly functioning. What then is hindering me from being productive? And I think I feel like I am too blessed that I need to be productive. I need to use my blessings in order to be productive. I also want you to be productive this week. So make sure you are being productive out here. Go out here, become the amazing person you are, do amazing things. Let's change this world. Sawa sawa. Yes, that has been my inspiration for today. And next week we will be having something. I'll be doing something for you, an inspirational video kidogo. You'll be having a good time. Trust me, trust me. I want you to catch me here again tomorrow at 8:30 on the breakfast show, and we'll be having another interesting discussion. So make sure you are staying tuned in for the show and stay tuned in for all other shows that we have along the day. It's been good having you on the show. Until tomorrow, it is adios from me. Thank you. Good morning once again. This is the farm plan that is coming to you right here from our farmers on Facebook and on YouTube. We are at our farmers media, and Farm Plan Monday is going to be coming on every Monday because the week starts on Monday. So as we start the week, we want to help the farmers to be able to plan for their week. So Farm Plan will all be talking about activities that we do in our farms. So we will be majorly planning for activities that we run in our farms. And it will be coming every Monday after the breakfast show, just right after the breakfast show in the morning. We will be having Farm Plan coming straight to you from here at Our Farmers. And on YouTube, we are at Our Farmers Media. It is the rainy season. So farmers kinda have some problems going around. And earlier this week, right here at our farmers, we were actually doing fertilizer application, and we were doing top dressing. As we all know, during rain season, okay, during rain season, you find that some nutrients in the soil actually get leached away and are washed away. And you find your crop won't be able to do very well because the nutrients won't be enough in the soil. And that's why we need to be applying fertilizers during this time, even as we are planting. I know farmers are planting. It is the planting season, I think, in the whole of Africa. It's not only in Kenya. I know the whole of Africa is planting right now. And I know as the rains are raining, your nutrients kinda are getting leached away, and you need to keep doing it over and over again for your nutrients to be for your nutrients to be able to stay in the soil and for your plants to get the nutrients that they need. Um, Fertilizers. I think let me start at fertilizers. Fertilizers, you see the way you as a human being, you consume food to be able to get your nutrient needs. It's the same thing with the plant. For a plant to grow, it needs nutrients. And these nutrients, they can be available in the soil. At some point, they may not be adequate. And you need to actually supplement. And you supplement by applying fertilizers. So it's the same thing that we have with human beings. You need food for you to survive. The same way the plant needs nutrients for it to be able to grow and yield and achieve maximum productivity. And that's why we need to apply fertilizers in our crops for them to be able to be productive. I don't know how you farm, but I will say the normal farming process, the way it goes, you plow your land, right? You dig your land, you know what you're planting, you have everything ready. And when you are planting, I know most of the subsistence farmers that I know, most of them don't actually use fertilizer like inorganic fertilizer made from the shops, right? They use manure in their farms as they are planting. I know most farmers tend to use compost manure or farmyard manure, depending on what you have available. They mix it with their soil and then they can plant their seeds. That is the first application that you do, right? For more people who do more of the commercialized thing, commercialized agriculture, they do, most of them I know they combine organic and inorganic fertilizers. So they will combine farmyard manure, and most farmers tend to use DAP, right? But before you know what you're supposed to be applying in your soil, we will have to go back to the basics, right? Um, for you to know what you need to apply in your soil, you need to do a soil test. You need to know what nutrients does your soil have? What nutrients are lacking in your soil? What do you need to supplement your soil with? What do you have in abundance? How can you reduce that? You need to have this knowledge. So you won't come to your farm and just decide, today I'm going to use DAP and I am going to apply it at this rate. It is impossible. Actually, it won't work for you. It is not the right thing for you to do. Okay. First of all, I hope, because I know most of the farmers have already planted right now, but I hope you did your soil test. You did your soil test and you knew what nutrients you needed in your soil. And you were advised accordingly by your agronomist or your soil scientist the kind of fertilizer you need to be using and at what rate to apply it. And for those who haven't done, for someone who actually wants to plant right now, that is the first basic step that you should do. Make sure you get someone to come and test your soil, test your soil, know the pH, know the nutrients that are available in your soil, know nutrients that are lacking in your soil. And then afterward, you can be advised on the kind of fertilizers you can use and at what rates you apply them. We don't want to do farming in a very traditional way. You know, people in the traditional way actually, farming wise, you do a thing. It's something you do as long as you have enough food for your family to consume. You're good to go, right? But right now, we are solving a crisis we have, right? We want to achieve food security. And if we have to do that, we have to provide our plants with the necessary nutrients that they require. And you can only do that if you know what you have in your soil, what you are lacking, how you can supplement it, at what rates do you do it? And then we have another thing that comes in. At what time do you apply your fertilizers, right? We have the rainy season. We have um, we have major nutrients in the soil, and they are actually called the macronutrients in the soil. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, they are the macronutrients in the soil. And then we have the micronutrients, copper, iron, these small, small nutrients. And they can always be found in the soil, but in some soils you find some nutrients aren't available, or if they are available, they are actually inadequate. They are inadequate. And if they are inadequate, you actually need to supplement your soils with fertilizers. So it depends on what you're using. For an organic farmer, I know most of them organic farmers use compost manure, and they know how to mix them to actually get the nutrients that they need. I will do that. We'll actually do that on another show. I think we'll just talk about how to make your compost manure if you're thinking of trying it, if you're thinking of doing it, maybe to supplement you, or maybe you want to go organic and you are thinking of a way to be able to be making your fertilizers. We'll do that on another show, just not this one. This one, I just want to look at a general overview of fertilizer application in your soil. After you've done your soil test and you know the nutrients that you need to apply in your soil, at what time do you apply your nutrients to the soil? At what rates do you apply the nutrients in your soil? And actually, let's start with why do you actually apply fertilizers in your soil? I think it's the basic thing. Why would you be applying fertilizers in the soil? I know of several instances when you need to apply fertilizers in the soil. Um, One, when you want to when you want to provide nutrients for your plants that you've grown in your shamba, and the nutrients are not available in your soil. We've said once you've done a soil test, you can be able to determine nutrients that you have in the soil and the nutrients that you don't have in the soil. And if these nutrients are really required by your plants and they are not available in the soil, you actually need to apply fertilizers to be able to get these nutrients. So the first instance I know is when you're providing nutrients to your soil that are actually unavailable. That are unavailable. The second instance I know is you find most people when you harvest and your land is left bare, most nutrients are lost from the soil, especially for people who you see when a plant is growing, a plant actually maximizes, it uses the nutrients that you have in the soil. So at the end of the planting period, we are talking of the time when you're harvesting, you find the nutrients that are in the soil are actually very minimal because the plant has absorbed these nutrients for it to grow. So by the time you're harvesting, you won't have as much nutrients in the soil as you had when you were starting to plant. And in such case, because you need to plant again in this same field, and when you harvest it, the nutrients had actually become less. The second instance is actually always done after you've harvested, and the nutrients are less, and you need to add more nutrients into your soil. So here it's not a matter of them being inadequate. It is not. It's not actually a matter of them being unavailable. I think it's a matter of them being inadequate. They were absorbed and there is less in the soil. So you need to supplement it by applying your fertilizers. Um, the third instance when you apply fertilizers is when you want to improve. You see, we keep talking of good agronomic practices when you're doing agriculture. We said agriculture is a business. We are not here to do it for fun. In the long run, it must give us back money, right? And that's actually what we want every farmer to be doing. In the long run, it must give us money. For me to be able to get the money I need from agriculture, I need to optimize everything that I have around. Meaning, if I am farming, I need maximum yields from my plants. I need maximum yields from my plants. We were talking yesterday with a certain farmer who had visited us here yesterday, and we were asking if he plants. He said he plants, and he plants maize. He plants maize. Um, he plants maize. What did he say? In 1 acre of land, and we asked him what is his output like. What does he aim at harvesting at the end of the period? And he told us 18 to 20 bags. 18 to 20 bags. You see, you are planning for 18 to 20 bags. Yet, if you have the right information, you have applied your fertilizers well, you have done all your good agronomic practices from spacing, choosing of the right variety of seeds to grow, pest control, all these things, you've done it very well. 1 acre of land where you've planted maize is actually supposed to give you from 35 to 40 bags, right? 35 to 40. I know. Yeah, maybe you didn't know that. 35 to 40. And yet, in this instance, the farmer is thinking of 20 bags. 20 bags. 20 bags is it's actually half of the potential of your land. It is half of the potential of your land. You can actually achieve more than that. And so fertilizers help actually provide nutrients to the soil to help you achieve maximum yields. So the third instance is when we want to improve our yields for maximum productivity in our shamba. So those are three instances when we apply fertilizers in our shamba. I think you will remember that. You need to provide nutrients because they are unavailable in the shamba. You need to provide nutrients because they are inadequate. They are available, but they are inadequate. And then the third instance is because you want to actually, it's more of a good agronomic practice. You want to get better yields. You know, it's something you're doing, it's a top up, eh? You want to get better yields from your shamba because you don't want to be harvesting 20 bags when you can actually be getting 40, 35 to 40. 35 to 40 is like double the money of what you could be having. And it will help you be able to actually, your productivity is increased. When your productivity is increased, and if you are doing agribusiness, your money will be increasing. So more money, more money, more money. And I think, I don't know, is there anyone out here who wouldn't want more money in their accounts? Personally, I think if I had more money, life would be good. Life would be good. So you want more money, you need to make profits. There's a thing we say in affirmers: attain your knowledge and use the knowledge to maximize, to actually attain profits. So you need to attain profits from your shamba by maximizing on your yields and your productivity. The output should be worth it. And that's why we apply fertilizers. If you look at a farmer who actually applies fertilizer, let's say we have farmer A. Farmer A, let's call her Mwende. So Mwende applied farmyard manure when she was planting, right? And then during this other time, she doesn't apply anything. Are you sure that this farmyard manure will actually sustain the plant till harvesting period? And then we have farmer B. Farmer B, we will call her Mwikali. Mwikali planted her maize. When she was planting, she applied farmyard manure or maybe farmyard and DAP. And then as time goes by, she top dresses with CAN. When she has something else lacking, she feels like nitrogen isn't enough in her soil, she tops up, she tops up. Do you expect these two farmers to have the same output at the end of the period? No, it's a definite no. It is like this one has actually had her input in place. This other person, the input is a little bit kidogo, a little bit kidogo. You see, when you give much, you actually get back much, right? Input actually is always, if you do it well, input will always be proportional to your output. You put in kidogo, you will get back kidogo. That is the logic. That's how it works. That's just how it works. You have less nutrients in your soil and you're not adding anything to it. You don't expect nutrients to come from nowhere and fill your soil and you get maximum productivity. So you need to apply your fertilizers. You need to apply your fertilizers. But when you are applying your fertilizers, there are several things you need to be looking at. At what time am I applying my fertilizers? At what frequency am I applying my fertilizers? Um, it is the rainy season. It is the rainy season. So with the rainy season, we have two things happening, especially for a macronutrient like nitrogen. During the rainy season, nitrogen is actually so easily leached away. Nitrogen is so easily leached away, so it gets washed away. It gets washed away by runoff. So there's less nitrogen in your plants. And also during the rainy season, if you're having very heavy rains and you are applying your fertilizers, most probably your fertilizers might be washed away. So it's the same thing. So when you are applying your fertilizers, you have to look at all these logistics. At what time am I applying my fertilizers? Also, when you apply fertilizers, especially during dry season, especially when you're planting and you like apply it direct, and then you see the way you mix your soil and fertilizer, and then you put your seed, and it is during the dry season, and maybe you're not supplementing your farm with irrigation, so your farm will be dry. Fertilizer is actually, do you know your seeds actually won't grow? Your seeds won't grow because um the fertilizer kind of burns the seed can't grow. So you will wait for your seed to sprout, and then it will never sprout. And then it's because of one mistake that you made. Yani, a mistake, if you had the knowledge, you would have done it right. That's why we actually encourage people, we advise apply fertilizers when your soils are a little bit moist. When your soils are a little bit moist, make sure you apply your fertilizers at that time. You see, like in the morning when you wake up, your cells are not very dry, right? You can actually apply your fertilizers at that time. And during the rainy season, you see, as the rains approach,
Mic
if
check,
the rains
Sarah.
don't come
Check
like,
1 2.
like
Yep.
at first they come and it is like full time, very heavy rains. No, they actually come, and then with time they actually become heavier as time goes by. During this time, you can apply your fertilizers before the rains become too much. Once your soil starts getting wet and they are moist, you see, like when you touch your soil, 2 centimeters, like the top layer of your soil, 2 centimeter of it should be a little bit dry but moist. You can actually apply your fertilizers at that time because you see, when it rains, water is absorbed into the soil. So when you apply fertilizers, even if it had rained yesterday and today you feel like the soils, like the first 2 centimeters, have started to dry up, and but they are moist kidogo. But you apply your fertilizers, actually the soil, the water that is in the soil will actually make the fertilizer to become soluble. So your fertilizers will work. They will be very effective. They will do what they need to do. And you see, proper timing of these fertilizers is very, 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 very important. For you to apply your fertilizers, you must do a very proper timing. Very proper timing. I will say very proper timing. I've said don't do it when the rains are too much because it will be zero work. You do it and they are washed away. And you see, the thing with them being washed away, one, it is a wastage. Two, you will actually be polluting the environment, especially our water bodies. And you see, we want to help our environment coexist vizuri sana, by the way. So we don't want to pollute our environment with the little things that we do. Hapa kidogo, na. Let's do it correctly. So just apply when your cells are moist, when it's not too much rainfall. And actually, when you apply, and if you do supplement your field with irrigation, don't overwater your plants. Don't overwater your plants when you have applied your fertilizers, because the same thing will happen. You will actually be washing away your fertilizers. We don't need you to do that. And when you see, there are advantages that come when you actually do proper timing for you to be able to apply your fertilizers, because one, it will be efficient, right? So there's no wastage. It is efficient. And when there's no wastage and it is efficient, meaning it is absorbed, all of it, right? So the second thing, we won't have a case of runoff or them being leached away into the water bodies. So we are actually protecting our environment. which is very, very important. Um, Three, when you have applied your fertilizers at the right timing, they will be absorbed into the soil and they will be available for the crop to absorb. So the nutrients will be available, they will be increased in the soil. When the nutrients are increased in the soil, you are sure if you do all other practices right, you are sure you are going to have very good yields. So it is very important that you actually plan, you actually time when you are doing what you are doing, right? Right. So earlier this week, you'll be seeing a video on our screens. Earlier this week in our farm, we were actually top dressing. We were top dressing our skuma wiki. So these skuma wiki seedlings, we planted them last week. Yeah, we planted them last week. Last week when we were planting, it wasn't raining. It wasn't raining. So we wouldn't apply DAP to our soils. We wouldn't, because our seedlings wouldn't grow. The roots will burn up and we have no crop growing. So last week when we were planting the seedlings, we didn't actually use DAP. And so we needed to actually supplement it because we need the nitrates and we need these nutrients in our soil for our skuma wiki to grow. So earlier this week on Tuesday, yeah, it was on Tuesday morning, we top dressed our skuma wiki. We top dressed our skuma wiki. When you look at our video, look at how we are doing the top dressing. Like, we are providing nutrients to the soil, but we are not putting it to the crop. Because when you do it to the crop, you are actually going to burn your crop. So when you are putting, as you can see in the video, when you are putting your fertilizers in the soil, you do it in a very systematic way. Mix it in the soil around your crop. Mix it in the soil around your crop. Be very precise. Don't go far away, because when you go far away, it will be wastage. One. Two, you don't know. You might be supplying nutrients to weeds, which is not advisable if you need to do farming the right way. So when we are applying our fertilizers, we are very precise to be applying the fertilizer to the crop, to the crop, to the crop, apply it to the crop. And when you are applying it to the crop, you don't like go and pour it on top of the crop. No, don't do that. Don't do that. It's not right. Nah, 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 bruh. So you just mix it in your soil around the crop, and then it will be cover your soil well. It will be absorbed when it rains, or because there is moisture in the soil, it will actually be absorbed into the soil, and the plants can always get their nutrients. So right now, I know farmers have a big problem because nitrogen is easily leached away during the rainy season. It is easily leached away during the rainy season, and it is very important, especially I am talking of especially horticultural crop farmers. Horticultural crop farmers, nitrogen is nitrogen is a macronutrient. So it doesn't matter if you're doing horticulture or any other crops, it is a very important nutrient. And you have to ensure that it is in its maximum, during the growth season. So um, nitrogen actually helps with vegetative growth. Vegetative growth is, I want to use a term you can understand as a farmer. Unaona matawi. We are talking about the leaves. The leaves are the vegetative growth, you know. So that's why I'm saying, especially for a farmer doing vegetables, vegetables, you get them from the leaves. You must have nitrogen in your soil. Like, there is no other way about it. Hakuna shortcut hapa. Lazima ukuwe na nitrogen kwa mchanga. Na ndio kuna hii nitrogen kwa mchanga. Sai kuna mvua, by the way. Mvua ni mob, and nitrogen is actually getting leached away. So you need to be supplementing it. And that's why we do top dressing. That's why we do top dressing. That's why we do top dressing. Because for our vegetative growth to be very good, we need nitrogen. We need nitrogen. But I always find there's always two sides to something. Because you can actually notice when your plants have less nitrogen. If you are very careful in your field as a farmer, when you walk around your field, you find your leaves start turning yellow. Your leaves start turning yellow. Your leaves start turning yellow because there's no enough nitrogen. You see, when nitrogen is in the soil, there's a basic thing. I went back. I used to do some field work with some guy. This guy is a very good agronomist, and he used to come and look at a crop, and he's like, "Do you see how excessively green that crop is? It is because it has excess nitrogen. You have to find a balance. You have to find a balance. So nitrogen actually makes your vegetative growth to improve, right? So you need it for your vegetative growth. But be very careful that you don't overdo it, because there's always something that happens when you overdo something. When you apply nitrogen in excess, vegetative growth will actually increase, and it will increase to the levels that you actually don't need. If you have a crop whereby you need vegetative growth, but at the same time you need it to be fruiting or flowering. Let's say you have planted watermelon, right? You plant watermelon and you apply excess nitrogen, and the vegetative growth is actually too much. Matawi inamea tu kabisa vile inafaa, si ndio? There's always another side to it. You will be doing this in the expense of the fruit production. You will be doing this in the expense of flower production. So one thing will be hindered for another thing to prosper. So you need to find a balance. You need to find a balance. Tuseme a maize farmer. Let me give an example of a maize farmer. I know most people actually plant maize. So as a maize farmer, you apply too much nitrogen in your soil. Do you know the vegetative growth will increase, right? And do you know what else happens? Your plants become very weak. Have you found stalks in your shamba? When wind blows, actually you find the stalks are actually falling. They are falling and breaking. Do you know what that can do to your farm? Imagine you have a farm and then umejaza nitrogen. Wewe ukafanya vile unataka, by the way, ukajaza nitrogen. Alafu the winds are coming, the rains are here, they are coming in excess, and your plants are very weak. So your plants actually ziangushwe zote. They fall in the shamba. What are you supposed to be harvesting when your plants are falling? Because your plants are not growing as they are supposed to be growing. So we are advising, because I said when we started, I said make sure you do a soil test. When you do a soil test, you will know the rates at which you apply. Don't overdo, don't underdo. Don't overdo, don't underdo. And I said nitrogen easily gets leached away. So be very careful at what time you are actually applying it. We don't want to be polluting our water bodies. And we also don't want to, what else? The polluting our water bodies, the environment, and then when they go into the water bodies, this is fertilizer. When fertilizer comes into a water body, they will favor other growth in the water, things like algae, and then there will be a lot. Your water can't be used. It's too much going on, right? So we can do this the right way. We can do this the right way. Do your soil test, know what nutrients you need in your soil. How do you apply them? At what rates? When do you apply them? I have told you, don't apply your fertilizer, especially if it's inorganic fertilizer, when it is dry season. It won't work. It won't work. It will destroy your crops. And when it is rainy, make sure the soil is a little bit moist. It is not too waterlogged, right? Do it the right way. Today, I have emphasized on nitrogen because nitrogen is a macronutrient, and I know it is one thing that is going to be disturbing the farmers right now because it is the rainy season and nitrogen is being leached away. It is being leached away, and we don't want you lacking nutrients in your soil and your plants not achieving maximum productivity because of that, right? Yeah, so I want you to do it the right way. So today I've talked about nitrogen, it is something that you're doing in your farm. I told you, farm plan, it's all about activities that you do in your farm. So I will help you plan around on what you can be doing, what you can't be doing. You see, with the seasons as well going around, I can actually always tell you what to do, how you can do it right. And if you have more information that you'd like to share, that you feel I might have left out, or actually something that you need to know, and you want us to address it for you, please give us feedback on our Facebook pages. We are a farmers. On YouTube we are at a farmers media, and I actually, you can look at our video that is rolling on the screen and see what we were doing, how we did it. If you need guidance, here at a farmers we give you the guidance, and this will be the plan. Every Monday, be sure to catch me, right here on Mondays after the breakfast show. Right after the breakfast show. Because everything, if we are planning for our week, we need to do it on the first day of the week. On the first day of the week. And for most people, everyone in the, let's say, the corporate world, the first day of the week is Monday. It is Monday. Monday is when we plan out our week, what we're supposed to be doing, roll out everything. So every Monday, be sure to catch me here right after the breakfast show, and we will be taking you through the plan activities, the farm activities that you need to be planning around during that time and during that season, depending on what is happening, right? Right. Give us your feedback, right? So be sure to catch me next Monday again after the breakfast show. And we actually have very good programs for you guys. So I think Afromas is one place you need to be watching. Other than our shows, on Monday I'll be doing the farm plan. On Tuesday, you will be having someone doing Diagnostic Tuesday right here. Right here. We'll tell you all the timing. Make sure to watch our shows. We'll be telling you the timing of these things. So on Tuesday, we'll be doing Diagnostic Tuesday. Do you have a pest or a disease that you would like us to know, that you want us to give you information about? Where it affects, how the effects are, how to control it? Be sure to give us your feedback. On Wednesday, we take you through Market Watch. Market Watch, we get to cover the market prices of different things that we have in our shamba, right? In our markets. On Thursday, we do Sauti ya Mkulima. Sauti ya Mkulima, we need the farmers. Talk to us. What do you have to tell us? Make sure you're talking to us. We will know what to address on Thursday on Sauti ya Mkulima. On Friday, we'll be having an expert taking us through a certain topic. So on Friday, we'll be having Ask the Expert. And I remind you again, catch me again next Monday on Farm Plan, right after the breakfast show. That is all we had today for Farm Plan Monday. I hope you're planning your activities well. Tell us, what are you doing in your farm this week? Let us know on our Facebook pages, on our social media pages, Facebook Farmers, YouTube at Farmers Media. Let us know what you're doing. Until next week, stay safe, be productive.